Item number 11, Ms. Husking.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2009-076, authorizing the submission of applications for Community Development Block Grant funds, be approved.
Second. Mr. Herwig.
Restrained members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final step in the process that's been going on for some months for the city's application for Community Development Block Grant funds, which, as we've discussed in previous meetings, comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development through the state and through SEGO. The projects that are in the application are approximately $106,000 for sidewalks on North Carmichael, on the west side of North Carmichael between Whitten and Tacoma, $110,000 to the Good Neighbor Alliance so they can build or have a modular building, which would be their services annex, so they can make more use of their existing buildings as a homeless shelter. And then about $110,000 to the Cochise County Housing Authority for the emergency repair program, which they have operated in the city for some years, and we have also previously funded under block grant funding. So the resolution this evening approves this submittal of these block grants. This also ties in with much of what was approved in the consent agenda this evening, which were sort of standard items that we have to do as part of the HUD process, as well as the next item, which is also part of the standard HUD operations.
Okay. Questions? Comments? All in favor? Thank you. It's unanimous. Mr. Reardon, item 12.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2009-077, committing local funds as leverage for 2009 Community Development Block Grant application, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Herwig.
Restrained members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final part of the block grant application, and this is required by HUD that the city commit local funds in lieu of cash as part of the block grant application. In this case, we're saying that the engineering and construction management of the street work on Carmichael will be part of our in lieu costs, and also that the contract administration and technical assistance in terms of carrying out the project will be our other portion of the in lieu funds that we will provide.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Unanimous. Item number 13, Ms. Husking.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2009-078, reappointing Scott French and Kathleen Camp to the Tourism Commission, said terms to expire June 30th, 2011, be approved. Second. And Mr. Mayor, both are here this evening.
Thank you, folks, for coming, and thank you for your service. All in favor? Approved. Item number 14, Mr. Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2009-079, reappointing Roy Gonzalez and Elton Green and appointing Jacqueline Smith Tingle to the Commission on Cultural Diversity, said terms to expire April 26, 2011, be approved.
Second.
Is Jacqueline here?
Yes, she is.
Okay, thank you. And I noticed that Roy and Mr.
Roy's
Green are not. Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous. Congratulations, folks, and thank you. Completes our agenda items. The next item is the call to the public. I have one request to address council. It would be Mr. Andre Newcomb, if you would, sir.
My name is Andre Newcomb, NEWCMB. I live on 26 Wolf Street. During the Olympics, you have had some information that was handed out during those Olympics, and they would say when the last Chinese diver was going to go for their 8th gold, they would go, "Did you see that?" Just instantly, while it was supposedly live, as though this announcer was so expert that she could see it instantly, that this person had messed up. And I think it was more or less propaganda that they were trying to tell us that Chinese could not do it, though that Michael, whatever his name was, could get 8 golds. And so there are things that I wonder when cable provide services and they tell us this is the truth, and they are licensed through you people. And so when they had the opening ceremonies, if you could switch your camera to this here, you'll see that the person who carried the final torch, his name was Li Ning. But if you put those two words together, you've got lining. And this is the lining of the body. And if you look at that stadium, they like to call it the bird's nest. And that is not the bird's nest. That was Buddha's eye that you saw there. And those ribs were the blood vessels of the eye. There was a movie that we had back in the 60s called The Fantastic Voyage, where they had this person who needed some medical attention, but they could not get this done. So and this was science fiction, and they were able to shrink this spaceship down to such a point that it could go into the body microscopically. And so the way that they exited the body was through the eye. The Pantheon in Rome is 2,000 years old, and the dome of that is like an eye. And so when you saw Li Ning going up like that, we've also sang this song. And this is something I would like to say to you, China, that it is so very wonderful that you did such a thing, that you built such a thing and gave us God. You gave us Buddha's eye. And here in America, whether they said, did you see that? Did you see that? The Chinese could not get their 8th gold. And through the years, in my decades of life, they have said that there is a yellow peril to worry about. The only yellow peril I have ever had to worry about are blondes. And so I would like to say to you, China, that in the cuckoo's nest, when the Indians said juicy fruit, and that guy said to him, "You fooled them all, chief. You fooled them all, chief." I say to you, China, you fooled them all, China. They've been saying that you are the yellow peril. But no, you've done the same thing that we've done in the Pantheon and Jesus and everything that we believe in Hollywood and the Fantastic Voyage, all of that. These letters of danger that we get that tell us that we need to be afraid of you because of what happens in Tibet. If those people in Tibet are truly Buddhist, they will not mind. They'll go out there into those 17,000-foot plateaus, and they will play with their yaks, and they will make their cheeses, and they will be comfortable with life. But what happened most recently was that there were protests in Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama lives, and they got mixed messages in Lhasa, and people started protesting because they thought the Dalai Lama was instructing them to cause trouble, and that is not the case. I was hoping that when they had those opening ceremonies, that the final torchbearer would be the Dalai Lama. I believe that what we saw was the Dalai Lama carrying the final torch. And I tell you, China, if you were not so big, I would love to give you a hug, because you've done the same thing we've been trying to do for 2,000 years. Thank you very much.